welcome to Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk on WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. I would love to hear some callers today. Our phone number is 877-711-5611. 877-711-5611. We're an up-and-coming conservative talk show stationed in Evanston, Illinois.
Taking off like a rocket, Pat.
Amen.
Taking off like a rocket.
In a few moments, we're going to be greeted by Mr. Al Rasho. Al Rasho, who is coming in through the door as we speak. All right, Al. It's okay, Big Al. Al is going to be the co-host with me on Tuesdays on Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. We might just change it to Pat, Wally, and Al's Conservative Talk. What do you hear? What do you say, Al? How you doing?
All right, yourself?
Doing good. I can't complain.
All right.
And we're going to have a guest in a few moments. The lovely Miss Lynn Franco, 8th Ward GOP Committeewoman. We know Miss Lynn, right, Al?
Yeah, I never met her. I just heard her.
You know, this is the 4th time I'm going to be talking with her. Yeah. I've never met her either.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, what happened the last couple of days, and within the 31st Ward in particular, is, well, a travesty all throughout Chicago, actually. I pay $30-some to park my vehicle within my block. It's a residential parking area, okay? And I've been after the alderman time and time out. Phone calls, he doesn't listen. The gentleman's name is Felix Cardona of the 31st Ward. He has a gentleman that does the parking enforcement, and he has wrote to me and others emails that parking enforcement is being done. But unfortunately, the city of Chicago only has 70 meter maids. 70 meter maids. So the mayor has to get on the ball of that because people pay $30, $35. Visitors pay $8 a day for permit parking. They don't want to see other cars within their neighborhood. Even at night, you see cars parking at the fire hydrants, parking, blocking the sidewalk areas, parking in someone's disability area location. You know, this is horrible. And there needs to be more meter maids out there. The alderman of the 31st Ward blows you off. He doesn't want to talk to you. He has someone else doing it. And what does he do? But, you know, he gives you well, we're out working on it. We're working on it. There's only 70 meter maids, but no worries. I'll give you all the information you need. I'm still looking for all that information with the meter maids issuing tickets and citations because no one's getting tickets. And we suffer, So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a press conference within the 4300 block of Nelson in the 31st Ward, and I'm going to be talking about this issue, about Felix Cardona making his 6-figure salary and not doing anything. A typical alderman that doesn't care. He only comes out when it's convenient for him, when he needs signatures to be reelected, like all these other Democratic aldermen. And at the end of the day, the mayor needs to have more meter maids out there. Al, what do you think about this issue?
The aldermen's, they only come out when it's turkey giveaways or when they're trying to get a raise.
That's it.
You know.
That's it. They don't care.
Other than that, don't call us. We won't call you. You know.
Right. And all these tickets. Okay. Oh, Lynn is here. That's good. Hey, Lynn, what do you hear? What do you say? Are you on the air?
I hope I'm on the air. Hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Our co-host today is Al Rasho. He's the 3rd Ward GOP Committeeman.
How you doing, Lynn?
Okay. I'm fine, Al. How are you? I'm sorry I'm a little bit late.
That's okay. At least you're here.
Yeah.
We were talking about a little bit of the residential parking issue. What's going on? People are paying in the 31st Ward, for instance, $30, $35, whatever the case may be, to park their car. And then at night, you're trying to find parking. You're going around the block an hour, 2 hours, and you can't find any parking. You see cars parked at the fire hydrants, blocking the sidewalks, and cars not in the residential area. And the meter maids are not out there issuing tickets because supposedly, according to the 31st Ward Alderman's office, there's only 70 meter maids within the city of Chicago. And they said that the mayor needs to hire more meter maids. But they said, we'll get back to you because we're going to get some meter maids out there 4300 block of Nelson, for instance. I'm still waiting for those emails if any meter maids came out there, because as of last night, I'm going around the block for an hour and a half, and I can't find any parking. It's ridiculous what's going on in this city. Lynn?
Well, that not only is that mismanagement and poor management, that sounds very suspicious. Now, you say the residents pay $32 or $35. Is that a month or a day?
Well, something like that. It varies. If let's say you're a visitor, it's like $8 a day for a visitor's pass. It goes with your city sticker, which is ridiculous too. Another ridiculous fee in the city. I believe that's over what, $160, Al? Yeah,
$160, and it does nothing for you.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't guarantee you a parking spot. It doesn't. In the winter time, you still got to shovel and put up a chair.
Right.
So
the price varies, Lynn. It depends if you want one for a 6 months or a full year. It is different price ranges with these residential parking permits. But I say if you have a residential parking permit within a certain block, that's your block. You shouldn't have strange cars parking there at night. There needs to be more meter maids enforced, right? And the alderman of the 31st Ward is not doing anything like any other alderman, Democratic alderman that is, which is 49 wards. Yes.
Well, this all of this sounds typical for Democratic officials who are in charge of certain areas of the city. They slap on money, but they don't know how to govern. They're too lazy to follow up. First of all, this is something new. Why should you have to pay if it's residential and say you have a home, or even if you live in an apartment building? Mm-hmm. That's very difficult to control. And if they are not policing the people who park without a permit, then they have no right to charge a person who is a resident. This is just more Chicago, corruption, bad governing, and people who get in office who have no idea about how to govern and how law and order. They don't care about keeping order. These these Democrats only look out for their wallets, their friends, and they take their marching orders. This is the reason today what I wanted to talk about basically was explain to listeners the policies and the principles of the Republican Party, of the conservatives. Faith, family, and doing for yourself. But also, we like law and order. If you don't have law and order, the listeners will wipe out any kind of order. Now, I would think if you can find some lawyers, or should there be some city, a department of the city, some office I guess it would be down City Hall possibly, or maybe even, it wouldn't be the Z zone, department. But the thing is, why are residents being charged for parking? This is what the Democratic Party does. Always look for a way to get more money from you. Mm-hmm. And they come up with any kind of title, but then there's very little follow-up. With the stickers, they can look in your car and see. But for residents, what I would suggest is that the many of the residents in that ward, they should go to the alderman's office all together and just go there every till she or he does something about this, because that's not right. Right.
Lenny,
why should anyone have to drive around an hour and a half at night, and it's dangerous too?
Right, exactly. I mean, that's carjacking time, actually.
Exactly. It's carjacking. It's shooting time. It really.
Well, in Chicago, any time is shooting time.
Right. This is the criminal element really is out in force because it's dark. Now, but this is something that the alderman should be forced to take care of. If not, people should vote these people out of office.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
This is the reason that the residents and people in Chicago and Cook County, they really need to start paying attention to what the Republican Party stands for. Had it not been for the good old party, grand party, as it sometimes was referred to, you wouldn't have a lot of the growth and the prosperity that this country has produced. You can only produce growth and prosperity when there is law and order, and people are treated fairly. I remember going to a meeting, one in 2017 and one in 2018. And these breakfast meetings were basically, the room was filled with lawyers and law students. And the host panel was the American Civil Liberties Union. About 4 lawyers were on the panel. And what they talked about in the first time I went, and these were breakfast meetings around in early spring. In 2017, the first thing one of these lawyers said, once the panel, was in place, they said that there are 49,000 incarcerated in Cook County, and too many. So I was thinking to myself, well, what does that mean? I was thinking maybe they were going to come up and talk about, prison reform, something. And then, so basically that's what they were talking about. And the room was full of lawyers and law students, as I said. And there was one prisoner. They had a prisoner there. He was going to speak, and he was in this big suit. And, I guess some people will do anything to have a day. But so they started talking, and got a chance to say something. He didn't say much except that he's waiting to be paroled. But the next meeting, a year later, in 2018, it opened with, now we're down to 40,000 people incarcerated, 9,000 less, but that's still too many. And I wonder whether, I was thinking, well, maybe, some people got paroled, or they managed to finish their term or get a trade or out on some type of work release.
Sure.
So then later on, this one said, drug crimes should not be prosecuted. So I was wondering, so I was waiting for him to elaborate on that. He didn't elaborate it. He doubled down. He said drug crimes should not be prosecuted. So then it sunk in. I realized that there was a rotten fish, or 4 rotten fish up there on that stage. So I got a chance, when this meeting was over, I got a chance to ask a question. They only took 3 or 4, but I knew the people who had put on, who had this meeting. It was a breakfast meeting. So when I got a chance to, stay and tell them what I stood up and I introduced myself as Lynn Franco, the 8th Ward Republican Committeeman, and I'm sure that was shock enough for them to see a black Republican woman in Chicago. But I went on. They weren't shocked anymore once I went on. I said, sir, thank you for coming to Chicago. I appreciate you being here. I said, but I'm sure that most of those incarcerated in the Cook County the penal institution, they've done something to find themselves there. Police just don't go and knock on doors and drag people out. And I said, another thing I want to say, you got a lot of terrorists. I said, you have some bad lawyers. They're amoral and immoral. And by the time a person is on their second cup of coffee, they can have your life tied up for 5 years. So, they didn't like that, so I got interrupted. So this one lawyer, who all the time he had been looking like Mr. Rogers, like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, he had been, acting so nice and calm and sweet, but he was turning purple after what I said. He said, well, I'm sorry you had a bad experience with lawyers. And so I said, I'm not the only one. Not that I had bad experiences with lawyers, because I basically, tried to walk the straight and narrow. But then there was a younger lawyer. He was maybe 35, whatever. He still retained somewhat of his conscience. There are bad apples out there, meaning lawyers. And so I had mentioned, what about that? And this was during the time when Trump was in office. And I thought what they're doing in Washington, D.C., arrest a man first, find a crime later. I said, what is that supposed to mean? And this is how the Department of Justice has been weaponized, to go against people who have different views or ideologies as these modern-day Democrat officials. what I'm saying is this: if these people in the 31st Ward, they should be able to get a lawyer who is nonpartisan, who will go and stand up for this particular problem that was on the people. This was a problem that was just created. First of all, how are you going to even police, or how can you even keep control of people who have, unless they get some kind of sticker saying that they paid their parking? But there has to be enough to be a way for the parking to be controlled. Other than that, the city's just taking money again, and they failed to deliver.
Right. Another way of
and when
the city takes away money all over the place, like street sweeping. That's a big scam by itself. They never come out and street sweep, and it seems like they're always out there issuing tickets. Mr. Green, a buddy of mine that works at WCGO, said that they issue $75 tickets in Evanston. That's ridiculous, and they never come out to street sweep. So I think that's a big scam. It's a big scam in Chicago too.
It is. Well, it has to be reported. And then the citizens need to go to the newspapers and bring up these slights, because as long as the city can get away with that, and the aldermen can get away with things like that, they're going to come up with more schemes to go deeper into our pockets. Mm-hmm. But we have to stand up, to stop voting for you people who do not deliver. Some of these candidates, not only do they not deliver, they don't even have a platform. Yeah. They're so used to people voting Democrat. They just stand up there, and then when they start talking about how bad the other person is, the other candidate, or maybe the Republican. These sheep. And then these sheep, I call them sheep. I refer to them as sheep.
And we'll Lynn will talk about more of these sheep following these commercials on Pat and Wally's and Al Conservative Talk on WCGO. Thank you.
Look there, brother, baby, and I'll see what I see. Baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home, Chicago.
Producing your own podcast can be frustrating.
Test 1, 2.
Which is why I'm glad to be introducing the brand new multi-format network. We offer digital media, podcasting, and radio broadcasting professional standard production and syndication. Whether you're looking to bolster and polish your business presentations for a Zoom interview, host your podcast, or push your nationally syndicated radio broadcast to a satellite, we can facilitate your every need. So when you're ready to look, sound, and be professional, don't just try to do it yourself. Contact the professionals at the new multi-format network, the Multi-Format Network. From professional syndication to personal vindication, we've got your back. Shoot us an email, mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com. mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com.
Hello, radio listeners. Welcome to WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. We have a new conservative show on the airwaves, and it's called Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. I'm your co-host, Pat Gibbons. That being said, I'm going to pass the mic on to my friend and co-host, Wally. Hey, Wally, what do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, how's everyone doing today? We're just going to talk about the future, about Chicago crime and the veterans in Chicago.
Tune in Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Conservative Talk Radio with Pat and Wally. Should be a great show. We look forward to your engagement. We'll be talking about safety issues in the city of Chicago, how our veterans need help and assistance, better needed care. And also, too, very importantly, we're going to talk about the Chicago mayor that needs to be called out. I'm Pat.
I'm Wally.
And this is Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. Tune in to Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk on Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. starting June 5th.
It is estimated that 1.5 million people are arrested for DUI every year in the United States. In Illinois alone, over 30,000 motorists are arrested for DUI. Driving under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or drugs is one of the most complex of traffic charges on the books. Most people do not understand the complexities of the standardized field sobriety tests, which are horizontal gaze nystagmus, the walk and turn, and the one-leg stand test. Due to improper testing procedures, many people are wrongfully charged with DUI. Whether you have been charged with a DUI or an attorney handling DUI cases, the book DUIs Decoded explains the proper procedures for standardized field sobriety testing, breathalyzer testing, and the penalties in Illinois for driving under the influence.
Real estate, be it residential or commercial, is often a person's most significant and priciest asset. Entering into a contract to buy or sell a real estate property is much more than just filling in the missing blanks on the printed contract. It's wise to hire a lawyer to prepare or review the offer to purchase real estate and take full advantage of his legal expertise. With Mark Sheblo, you will gain an attorney with over 26 years of legal practice and one who has helped thousands of clients to buy or sell their homes or investment property. We will safeguard your interests and might be able to even negotiate a better bargain than a client without proper legal counsel ever could. Oftentimes, a prospective buyer will submit an offer without first consulting an attorney, not realizing that once the offer is accepted by the seller, it becomes a binding contract, and the terms of that contract are not easy to be changed afterwards. Likewise, as a seller, you too will benefit from first consulting an attorney before signing. Feel free to call us for consultation at the law offices of Mark Sheblo at 773-775-5050. Our website is sheblolawoffice.com. Mark Sheblo can be reached 6 days a week at 773-775-5050, Monday through Saturday, located at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. That's attorney Mark Sheblo, 773-775-5050.
All right, we're back on Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk with co-host Al Rasho, Third Ward GOP Committeeman. Hey, Al.
How's it going?
Lead off with Miss Lynn.
Miss Lynn, Chicago's been collecting a lot of money, but where's the money going? We're billions in debt.
Well, it goes into a bottomless pit and into a bottomless hole, and only certain people have access to that room where the bottom of that hole is. But what needs to happen is that we need to get a couple of wards together. The citizens will have to plan this, and we need to protest down at City Hall about some of these things. I mean, a big protest, meaning in numbers.
Yeah.
In numbers. We have to let the people know we are serious. We're tired of this.
Yeah.
It's just like that movie called Network that came out in the 70s where this TV journalist was able to get people to say, I'm tired of it.
I love that movie.
I'm mad as hell, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah, that and we gotta get.
I'm tempted to say that on the show, actually.
Well, the thing is, where can you speak? But this is a communication a pipe, that we're talking on. We've got to voice our disagreements and our displeasures, and we have to voice the things that are bothering us. We won't get an answer. They always say the loudest pot gets the most attention. Now, or either we could just go and protest at our alderman's office, right in front of there. If they have the power to do certain things, they should.
Yeah, but I think like protesting in front of their office, they'll just label us as the crazy people who's against them. I think the best way to go after them is just challenge them at the polls. Find Patriot.
That's part of it.
Yeah, there's people out there that would do it, but we just got to find the right people to put in the work, go get the signatures, and challenge these aldermen, the mayor, the governor. We gotta, because it's the people's power. There's more of us than them, but the problem is the more of us, we're not doing anything. We're just sitting back and we're just saying, it is what it is, and like 88,000 people moved out.
Sheep.
Yeah.
Where there are too many sheep. With all of these sheep, we need a couple of sheepdogs.
Yeah.
And this is what I think a committeeman should be. And from now on, we should be. We have to be sheepdogs.
Yeah, we got to be lions. Forget the sheep.
Wait.
You know.
No, I'm talking about the sheepdog. The sheepdog keeps the sheep back in the fold. They keep them, in the right area where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And this is when I just was talking about sheep, because the people who vote the same party all the time, regardless of how terrible things are, those are sheep.
Yeah.
They aren't looking. They aren't paying attention to anything. They just follow the blind leader.
Yeah, but I think with that is we don't have like solid candidates that are tough and that'll bring on the challenge and do the work. I think that's where we lack in Chicago, where it's been the same thing for 50, 60 years, and nobody's standing up to these. I don't know. They're not my leaders, but
Loser!
Well, the thing is, Wally, is that this decay that has infected the large cities of America, Washington, D.C., it was slowly and stealthily spread into it. A lot of people didn't even know what was happening. That the schools were going down so badly, not teaching the children. I don't see how to this day any black teacher can stand up and utter the word racism or talk about racism when they know that the pupils are not being taught what these same teachers were taught when they were going to school. How you can rob a person of their education is beyond contempt. These people are awful. They're all committing crimes. But going back to the lawyers, we have to find some good and honest lawyers who still conscious and who love this nation. This not only do we have to we have to vote these people out, but still we have to have sense.
We got to get a backbone, or we got to grow a spine, or.
Excuse me. Yes. I'm sorry.
Get the mirror off my back, so I don't have any more of this zoning crap.
I'm sorry. I was. But what I'm trying to say, we need some good attorneys to give us some advice, and will also be the voice box will be the voice box for the people and for what we are trying to get out. Now we do have some attorneys in the Republican Party, but the thing is, we have to we really need some good people to stand up. Now, more people are finally beginning to realize something is wrong, but they're so afraid not to say anything.
Yeah, we got to start suing. Litigation is a business tool. We got to keep them in court, keep them stressing, and keep them busy. And like instead of defunding the police, we should defund the teachers union. And create some kind of competitive education system where it's charter schools or independent schools, because the teachers union, they hijacked the city, and they've hijacked the city and everything. Like the parents, they do whatever the teachers tell them they gotta do. So like the parents are in the handcuffs too. And so we got a big problem, but I think like competitive education and defund the teachers union. They're the reason why. They're one of the reasons why Chicago and Illinois is bankrupt. We got no money. We're like probably $50 billion in debt, and we got no manufacturing. We got companies leaving Chicago, and it's just gonna get worse. It's gonna be worse than Detroit. So we got
the thing is these unions, these teachers unions, and some of the other unions for state employees, they have constantly been on pressing for more wages, so that the union can get higher union dues.
Yeah.
And like for example, it used to be that their wages were so high, but they were promised a good pension and health care that they didn't have to pay for.
Yeah, but there's no money in the pension. The pension money is dry.
Yes. And these people, they don't care. They don't care that it's dry, and they don't realize that it can't be up. They don't get anything. Truth needs to be brought to people, and this is the reason. This is where the Republican Party can really inform, and educate the public. But we have to have some Republicans that are courageous enough and intelligent enough and knowledgeable enough as to what's going on to speak to the people.
Yeah, because you know, the Republicans, we got to get out there. You know, now's a great chance for us to be out there while, you know, from chaos comes order. So we got to be out there in everybody's face, you know, and then people, they'll respect us more. And then once the election time comes, they're gonna say, you know what, I remember Lynn. She was the only one speaking out. I'm gonna give my vote for her this time. You know, I've been giving my vote on the other side this whole time, so let me just try it one time, give her a shot, you know. And
like Donald Trump said, we have to lose.
Yeah, we got nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Yes. And this is the reason. Like, for example, we didn't have really a conservative candidate for mayor, and that's ridiculous. And it makes me so angry. And look at these people that are so dumb that get into office. They're so dumb that get into office, and our leaders, it seems to me like they don't care.
Yeah, because I think like people think that a Republican can never be a mayor of a blue state, especially Chicago. But most of the people, you can tell they have a conservative mindset, because you can tell from the election last time, 33% showed up. Where's the 67%? You know, I think if we had like a real strong Republican candidate, or even just a conservative candidate as mayor, that's got a spine, he'll speak out. He won't be afraid of being called a racist or a bigot or whatever names that they use, you know, and then you just stand up to them. And I think I think a lot of the people, they'll go out and vote for that conservative mayor, you know, because people, they're tired of the BS. You know, I'd use some more colorful words, but, you know, I don't want problems with the FCC, so.
Because when I was campaigning in the south suburbs, say like in Chicago Heights and Milton, around in that area, when I was running Cook County Commissioner of the 4th Congressional for the 4th County District, the people loved what I was saying when I was talking about education. You know, that's the one thing that breaks my heart. You know, those wonderful trade schools that we had, and so much money was invested in building such noble institutions, and then the teachers union, they sneakily they go and removed a lot of those classes, those trades.
Yeah,
you know, having everything made in China, our biggest enemy. You see, what our and our listeners need to hear is that you have to look at the candidates individually, whether they're Democrat or Republican. You have to look at them and listen to them, to what they're saying. And it can be done. There were so many people that wanted me to win, and I didn't get much financial help from the party. You know, I got.
I think the financing thing, it is a big deal, but I think you got to convert people to actually go to the polls and vote, because you can have like Richard Irvine. He had 40 million, 50 million behind him, and he was probably one of the first ones to drop out. So I think money is an issue, but I think like
he didn't have a message.
Yeah, you got to convert people. You got to persuade people to go vote for you. Like politics, it's you know, you got to be a good salesman to pursue people to go actually go out, hit the poll, and vote for you. You know, so I think that's the main thing. You gotta have a message and stick to that message, and have a strong feeling about it, and then push that agenda. You know, like the trade schools, instead of raising taxes, property taxes, and city sticker, and all those taxes and fees they try to raise, Like the
and residential parking.
Yeah, and few years ago when they had the pop tags, the soda tags, that didn't do nothing.
Yes.
It's all a Ponzi scheme.
And plastic.
Plastic bags. To get people to stop using plastic bags. But people are always going to use plastic bags. And you just got to create trade schools and get people working, and they'll cover the negative income that we don't receive. For instance, you get 50,000 people, 100,000 people out of these trade schools, whether they're plumbers, carpenters, electricians, barbers. Those people are going to start working and creating income, and they'll be paying the tax. So they'll be recovering some of the tax and the stuff that you lose income from. So everything, you can't tax people to death. You gotta create income to move forward.
And then they have to stop. When you have, there are a lot of avenues where the city and the state collect, especially from businesses.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to get back with that tax at Pat and Wally's and Al Conservative Talk on WCGO 1590 AM.
Your own podcast can be frustrating.
Test 1, 2.
Which is why I'm glad to be introducing the brand new multi-format network. We offer digital media, podcasting, and radio broadcasting professional standard production and syndication. Whether you're looking to bolster and polish your business presentations for a Zoom interview, host your podcast, or push your nationally syndicated radio broadcast to a satellite, we can facilitate your every need. So when you're ready to look, sound, and be professional, don't just try to do it yourself. Contact the professionals at the new multi-format network, the Multi-Format Network. From professional syndication to personal vindication, we've got your back. Shoot us an email, mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com. mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com.
Hello, radio listeners. Welcome to WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. We have a new conservative show on the airwaves, and it's called Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. I'm your co-host, Pat Gibbons. That being said, I'm going to pass the mic on to my friend and co-host, Wally. Hey, Wally, what do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, how's everyone doing today? We're just going to talk about the future about Chicago crime and the veterans in Chicago.
Tune in Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Conservative Talk Radio with Pat and Wally. Should be a great show. We look forward to your engagement. We'll be talking about safety issues in the city of Chicago, how our veterans need help and assistance, better needed care. And also, too, very importantly, we are going to talk about the Chicago mayor that needs to be called out. I'm Pat.
I'm Wally.
And this is Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. Tune in to Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk on Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. starting June 5th.
It is estimated that 1.5 million people are arrested for DUI every year in the United States. In Illinois alone, over 30,000 motorists are arrested for DUI. Driving under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or drugs is one of the most complex of traffic charges on the books. Most people do not understand the complexities of the standardized field sobriety tests, which are horizontal gaze nystagmus, the walk and turn, and the one-leg stand test. Due to improper testing procedures, many people are wrongfully charged with DUI. Whether you have been charged with a DUI or an attorney handling DUI cases, the book DUIs Decoded explains the proper procedures for standardized field sobriety testing, breathalyzer testing, and the penalties in Illinois for driving under the influence.
Real estate, be it residential or commercial, is often a person's most significant and priciest asset. Entering into a contract to buy or sell a real estate property is much more than just filling in the missing blanks on the printed contract. It's wise to hire a lawyer to prepare or review the offer to purchase real estate and take full advantage of his legal expertise. With Mark Sheblo, you will gain an attorney with over 26 years of legal practice and one who has helped thousands of clients to buy or sell their homes or investment property. We will safeguard your interests and might be able to even negotiate a better bargain than a client without proper legal counsel ever could. Oftentimes, a prospective buyer will submit an offer without first consulting an attorney, not realizing that once the offer is accepted by the seller, it becomes a binding contract, and the terms of that contract are not easy to be changed afterwards. Likewise, as a seller, you too will benefit from first consulting an attorney before signing. Feel free to call us for consultation at the law offices of Mark Sheblo at 773-775-5050. Our website is sheblolawoffice.com. Mark Sheblo can be reached 6 days a week at 773-775-5050, Monday through Saturday, located at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. That's attorney Mark Sheblo, 773-775-5050.
We're back on Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk with co-host Al Rasho, 3rd Ward GOP Committeeman. Our phone number is 877-711-5611. Again, 877-711-5611. Don't be shy. We would love a phone call. A new Equitable Institute report finds Illinois state and local pension debt now tops $218 billion with a B, with both debt to GDP and funding ratios the worst in the country. I kid you not. In assessing the data they collected, researchers weighed state and local pension debt across all major state and municipal pension plans, concluded that Illinois capped the 2023 fiscal year with an estimated $429 billion in pension liabilities, with only $218 billion worth of assets, leaving a $211 billion hole stemming from the growing imbalance. Lynn, what do you say on that? Lynn?
It's mind-boggling. It's disgusting. But I do remember when Bruce Rauner was elected governor of Illinois, and I see it now as him going through the motions, really trying to tame that tiger, and which is this which was this debt that we have due to these city and state workers' pensions. But his wife and his family, they were Democrats, and he listened to everything they said. I remember when Trump came to Illinois after he was elected, and I think he was in that area where they had the steel mills. Mm. Rauner didn't meet him at the airport, and he sat he sat down like when they were meeting, when speaking, and I think it was called Gravel City or Steel City. It says something like that.
Granite City, maybe?
But he did not go up on, Granite City, that's right. He didn't go up and really stand beside the president. Now, that was odd. He had opportunity. Had Ron been a true conservative, he could have at least got it started with reducing this huge debt. These teachers, these retirees, they know that it isn't fair. That they didn't pay into the pension fund or the health care fund, but yet they're reaping the benefits. And it has to be made known to these people. Something has to give. You want to lose everything, or at least be responsible for paying something out of their monthly retirement. Because it was when I went to this one meeting about these pensions, and this was maybe around 8 years ago. That if a teacher retires at 30, they receive I think it was like $59,000 a year, plus cost of living. But if they retire after 35 years, they get like $75,000 a year in their. Now that's a lot of money, especially when you didn't pay into it.
Yeah, see, this is a problem that started in 1971 when President Nixon got us off the gold standard. We went to fake money, just keep printing money, and everything will be all right, So. And
it was like in our meeting, and I think it was the economist. There was an economist that spoke. I don't know if I'm not Stephen Moore or other economist, I think it might have been Stephen Moore, he's pretty good, and he is from Chicago, there was also revealed that the state Surgeon General, what does the Surgeon General really does as far as what make sure he delegates to the other surgeons all in the city, or make sure that this surgeon's fees are up to par here or whatever. He gets at retirement $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, this is grotesque.
Yeah, that's why they stay.
No.
That's why they stay in these lifelong jobs, because they know their pensions 6 figures or better, and they really don't have to do anything. Let everybody else pay for their problems.
And what really hurts me and breaks my heart is that America was once the beacon for everything, earth, for doing things better, for innovation, technology,
manufacturing,
education, sports, music, and it was due to hard work. It was due to being creative and really being honest as far as work was concerned. But now, as long as government grows, then the city or the state is poorer. The quality of life is less. It has lessened. And the thing is, you have to understand before it's too late. Because once things really get out of hand, it's almost impossible to retrieve what we once had, how we once lived.
Right.
And this is the reason that I stand and I fight for. I believe in doing for yourself.
Right.
And this is the one thing that big government does is it takes that initiative away from the people. It wants people dependent. Now that's evil.
Yeah. We need more entrepreneurs, because they're the ones that grow the economy. They grow a country.
And yes, and then you have these idiots. We need socialism where everybody has the same. Well, where is that?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as everyone having the same. We are not all the same. We don't have the same wishes, the same ideologies. We have the same laws and rules in the city that we live in that make sense. But who's to say, why should one person, I'm not envious of a person who is successful, because they work for it. And successful, they create jobs. But then you have this evil set of people who want to destroy America, and I mean, look at the Democratic congressmen who are so ignorant. Ilhan Omar, AOC. I mean,
she's married to her brother.
Yes. How is it that these people get in office, but yet in a fine city like Chicago, we can't even get a good Republican?
And she's in Congress and she hates America.
It makes me so angry. Whenever I see or hear to me, these people are like criminals. They're just like criminals. And then, like, for example, with those female soccer players, get on a world stage, and they don't know how stupid they look when they don't put their own flag for the national anthem. They have no idea how dumb they look.
Yeah, but see, a lot of it is the American people's fault. A lot of it is the American people's fault, because they sit back and they just watch. Nobody needs, like most Americans need to start taking action and running for these office jobs if they can handle the pressure and the stress. They should run for these office positions, because you let these people like Ilhan Omar and those type of people in office. They're like ambitious to destroy the country. We need patriots that are ambitious to grow the country.
Such as you, Lynn. Me, I work for the United States Postal Service. I'm a blue-collar worker. Al drives a cab. We're not lawyers. We're just trying to make America great. That's what we're trying to do. Make Chicago conservative.
We're the salt of the earth people.
Yeah. And I think like Chicago is mostly conservative, because you can tell by the voting. People don't go out and vote. Like I think like when Lightfoot ran the first time, she got about 12% of the votes, if I'm not mistaken. And this time, they threw a pizza party and busing kids to to go vote for Bozo Johnson. So I think the majority of people in Chicago, they're just sick and tired of these like losers bossing them around, but they won't do anything. You know, we gotta like we gotta somehow push these people to go out and vote. You know, we need solid, strong candidates that won't back down from these socialists and these progressives. You know, so I think that's the key for the next election and the elections coming forward. You know, we need to find solid, strong candidates that won't back down. You know, this like politics.
And we have to support these candidates.
Yeah. And I think the candidates, whoever tries and wants to run, they have to put in the work. You know, you have to go put in 10, 15 hours a day. You can't just depend on the Republican Party or the Democrat Party. You gotta, if you want that position, you gotta put in that work. You know, nothing's gonna come easy for you. You know, like look at Donald Trump. He doesn't have to campaign. You know, he can just sit back and relax, but he puts in more work. He puts in work like he's hungry, you know, and he doesn't even need the position. You know, he's well off. He doesn't need the stress in his life, but he's on a mission. He's a man on a mission to save this country. So we need people on a mission to save this city, you know, because the way the city is going now, it's not looking good. You know, we're gonna look like a third world country in Chicago. You know, there's a lot of vacancies in downtown and some of the north side, south side. I mean, the south side, it's a beautiful area, but it's not the money they say they invest in there. But, you know, I don't see where they're investing in because there's a lot of vacancies, vacant land. You know, so these politicians, they just use south side and west side as a money grabbing scheme for themselves because there's no development. There's no... You know, you got to make people, you got to build wealth in the communities, and that way people, they'll prosper and they'll live a great life, you know. But these politicians, they don't want nobody to prosper. They want everybody to depend on them. When it's Thanksgiving time, they'll come out, the aldermans, and they'll come out, hand you a turkey, and then you can go home and don't forget about them in November. Vote for them. You know, so they buy you with a turkey and sweet talk. But no action, no real life. You know, nothing ever changes. You know.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, I have a couple of ideas. I'm not going to disclose them yet, but a couple of ideas about how to do that when it comes to getting some candidates, and not just candidates, but getting businesses back on the south side.
Yeah.
And it's like going directly to the horse's mouth. And I feel that donors, escalating a lot of times to the party, they need to talk with different...
you got to go talk to the people. You got to see what the people want, you know. Like, I talk to people all the time, and I drop people off on the south side, and a lot of them, they're hurt because the steel mills are gone. The manufacturing, a lot of them were on the south and west side. You know, so like those jobs leave. Those were good paying jobs in those days. Just like Detroit, when they lost the automotive manufacturing, you know, they lost wealth and you know, people lost a lot of money. Then people went back to being poor. You know, and nobody in America should be poor. This is the wealthiest country in the world, and we should all be prosperous and rich. You know.
It's true.
You're right. I'm gonna have to log off right now.
That's okay, Lynn. The show is over. Thank you for coming, as always.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.
And thank you, Al, for joining us.
Problem anytime.
You're a regular. I can tell.
See you next Tuesday.
All right, Big Al.
I'll be on time.
And thank you, Dennis, for amazing audio. And thank you for joining us on Pat, Wally's, and Al's Conservative Talk.